I'm 81 years old, and I need to tell you something that might break your heart. For 60 years, I believed a lie that cost me everything. I thought friendship would always be there. I thought the people who loved me would wait forever. I thought there would always be more time for one more coffee, one more phone call, one more "I'll see you soon." I was wrong. 2 years ago, something happened that shattered my entire understanding of life. My best friend died. His name was Frank. We'd known each other for 57 years, and when he died, a piece of me died with him. But that's not why I'm talking to you today. I'm talking to you because of what I realized after he was gone, what I realized about all the years I took for granted, what I realized about the friendships I let slip away, what I realized about sitting in an empty house surrounded by silence, wondering where everyone went. I had many friends once. Now I sit alone, and the worst part, it's my fault. I'm going to tell you things you need to hear, things nobody told me when I was your age, things that might make you uncomfortable, things that might make you want to put your phone down and call someone you haven't spoken to in months. Good. That's exactly what you should do, because I'm running out of time. And you have more than you think, but less than you imagine. I spent 52 years believing I had unlimited tomorrows with the people who mattered. I didn't. And now most of them are gone. Don't make my mistake. Listen carefully. What I'm about to share might just save your relationships. It was a Tuesday morning, September 14th, 2 years ago. I remember it was raining, not a storm, just a steady drizzle, the kind of rain that makes everything look gray. I was sitting at my kitchen table reading the newspaper, same thing I'd done for 40 years, coffee getting cold, radio playing something I wasn't really listening to. Then the phone rang. I almost didn't answer. I remember thinking, probably a scam call. That's what most calls are these days, strangers trying to sell you things you don't need. But something made me pick up. It was Frank's daughter. Her name is Sarah. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "It's Dad," she said. "He passed this morning, in his sleep." I don't remember what I said next. I don't remember hanging up the phone. I just remember sitting there, staring at the wall, feeling like the ground had dropped out from under me. Frank, gone. We were supposed to meet for breakfast that morning, every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. at Miller's Diner. We'd been doing it for 32 years. Same booth, same order, same terrible jokes. And now there would be no more Tuesdays. I drove to his house. I don't know why. He wasn't there anymore. But I drove anyway, sat in my car in the driveway, stared at his front door for an hour. His car was still in the garage. His newspaper was on the porch, still in its plastic sleeve. His life just stopped. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the conversations we'd had, all the ones we didn't have, all the things I meant to say but never did. You think you have unlimited time with the people you love. You don't. At the funeral, I looked around the room. It was full of people Frank hadn't seen in years. People who said, "We should have visited more." People who said, "I kept meaning to call." I was one of them. Sure, we met for breakfast twice a week, but there was so much we never talked about. So much I assumed we'd get to eventually. Eventually never came. That's when it hit me. I looked at my own life, really looked at it for the first time in decades, and I realized something terrifying. Frank wasn't the only friend I'd lost. Over the years, I'd let dozens of friendships fade away, people I'd known for decades, people who mattered to me, people I just stopped calling. I told myself I was busy. I told myself they understood. I told myself we'd reconnect eventually when things settled down. Things never settled down. And now, at 79 years old, standing at my best friend's funeral, I counted the people left in my life, really counted. The number was embarrassingly small. How did this happen? How did I go from someone with a full address book to someone who sits alone most days? I knew the answer. I'd always known it. I just didn't want to admit it. Let me take you back. To understand how I ended up here, you need to understand how I lived. When I was young, 22, 23, I had friends everywhere, college buddies, work colleagues, neighbors, people I'd grab beers with on Friday nights, people I'd call just to talk about nothing. Life was full. But then something happened. The same thing that happens to everyone. Life got busy. At 25, I thought, when I get this promotion, then I'll have more time for friends. I got the promotion. At 32, I thought, when the kids are a little older, then I'll reconnect with the guys. The kids got older. At 45, I thought, when work slows down, then I'll plan that fishing trip with everyone. Work didn't slow down. At 55, I thought, when I retire, then I'll have all the time in the world for friendships. So I waited and waited and waited. Do you know what happened while I was waiting? People drifted away, moved to different cities, got caught up in their own lives. Some of them died, and I wasn't there. I missed birthdays, I missed weddings, I missed funerals. I always had an excuse. Work was demanding. The family needed me. I was too tired to drive 3 hours for a party. The excuses sounded reasonable at the time. They always do. But here's what I didn't understand then. Every time you say no, you're sending a message. Every time you cancel, you're making a choice. Every time you don't show up, the bond gets a little weaker. Until one day, there's no bond left at all. I remember one night, I was about 58, an old college friend called, Jerry. We hadn't spoken in maybe 6 years. He was going through a divorce and wanted to talk. I was tired. It had been a long day. I told myself I'd call him back on the weekend. I never did. 3 months later, I heard through someone else that Jerry had died of a heart attack. I never called him back. That should have been my wake-up call. It should have changed everything, but it didn't. I told myself it was just one of those things. I told myself Jerry understood. I told myself I'd do better with the friends I still had. I didn't. Year after year, the pattern continued. I was present in body but absent in spirit. I'd show up to gatherings but spend half the time thinking about work. I'd nod along to conversations but not really listen. My friends deserved better. I just didn't see it. Here's what I had by age 60. A good job, a nice house, a retirement account, a reputation. Here's what I didn't have. People who really knew me. Not the work version of me, not the polite neighbor version, the real me, the scared, uncertain, occasionally lonely version that nobody ever saw. I'd spent so many years building walls that I forgot how to let people in, and the few friends who stuck around, I took them for granted. Frank stuck around. For 57 years, Frank stuck around, and I assumed he always would. Let me tell you the biggest lie you're telling yourself right now. I'll make time for friends later. Later. That word has destroyed more friendships than distance, disagreement, or death combined. Later never comes. Not the way you imagine it. You think there's some magical future where you'll have time, energy, and opportunity all at once. There isn't. There's only now. And now keeps slipping away while you plan for later. Here's another lie. Real friends understand when you're busy. Maybe they do, at first, for a while. But understanding has a limit. Even the most patient friend eventually stops reaching out. Not because they stopped caring, because they got tired of being the only one trying. I lost at least a dozen good friendships this way, not to arguments, not to betrayal, just to neglect. That's the quiet killer of friendship, neglect. You think people will always be there. You think the connections you built in your 20s will magically survive decades of minimal effort. They won't. Friendships are like plants. Stop watering them and they die. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, silently, while you're looking the other way. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you called a friend just to talk? Not to ask for something. Not because you needed advice. Just to hear their voice and see how they're doing. If you can't remember, you might be making my mistake. Let me tell you about another lie. The biggest one of all. Work is more important than relationships. I believed this for 40 years. I believed showing up at the office made me responsible. I believed missing events for work was noble. It wasn't noble, it was cowardly. I used work as an excuse to avoid the vulnerability that real friendship requires. It was easier to answer emails than to call an old friend. It was safer to stay busy than to admit I was lonely. I once missed my best friend's 60th birthday because of a work deadline. A deadline. Do you know what that deadline was? I don't. I can't remember. It felt urgent at the time. It feels meaningless now. But I remember the look on Frank's face when I told him I couldn't make it. He said he understood, but something shifted that day. Something small. The kind of thing you don't notice until years later when you're looking back and wondering where things went wrong. That's how friendships die. Not with a bang, with a whisper. And by the time you hear it, it's often too late. I'm telling you this because I wish someone had told me. Your friends will not wait forever. Your network is not permanent. The people who love you will eventually stop trying if you never try back. Is that what you want? To wake up at 81, surrounded by silence, wondering where everyone went? You want to know what keeps me up at night? It's not the big stuff. It's not the obvious failures. It's the small moments. The ones I missed, the ones I can never get back. Let me tell you what I mean. Frank's wife died in 2015, cancer. She was sick for 8 months before she passed. I visited twice. In 8 months. I told myself the drive was long. I told myself they had family around. I told myself I didn't want to intrude. Excuses, all of it. Frank needed me, and I wasn't there. After she died, he called me one night. It was late, maybe 11. He just wanted to talk, said he couldn't sleep in their empty house. I was tired. I had work in the morning. I told him I'd call back tomorrow. I did call back, but tomorrow wasn't the night he needed me. Tomorrow wasn't when the grief was crushing him. Tomorrow was too late. That phone call haunts me. Here's what else haunts me. The road trip to Montana we always talked about. Frank and I planned it for 30 years. Every summer we'd say, next year for sure. We never went. Now we never will. The letter I never wrote to my college roommate, his name was David. We lost touch in our 40s. I always meant to reach out, tell him what his friendship meant to me during those hard years. He died in 2018. I found out through Facebook, a post from his daughter. I never told him anything. The apology I owed to Marcus. We had a falling out in 1987, something stupid about a business deal. We both said things we didn't mean. I was too proud to apologize first. He moved to Arizona. We never spoke again. 36 years of silence over something I can't even remember clearly. The birthday parties I skipped, not one, not two, dozens, always something more important, always something more urgent. Now those friends are gone, and I never celebrated with them. The dinners I cut short, the visits I postponed, the calls I didn't return, all those chances, gone. You know what the cruelest part is? I remember every excuse I made. I remember convincing myself it was fine. I remember thinking there would be more time. There wasn't. I'm sitting here now with a phone full of numbers I can't call anymore. People who died, people who moved on, people who got tired of waiting for me to show up. My phone used to ring constantly. Now it rings maybe twice a week. Doctor's office, pharmacy, sometimes my daughter if she remembers. That's what happens when you neglect people for decades. They stop expecting anything from you. They build lives without you in them, and you can't blame them. I don't. I blame myself. After Frank's funeral, something broke inside me, not in a bad way, in a necessary way. The wall I'd built around myself cracked. The excuses stopped working. The lies I'd told myself for 60 years suddenly sounded hollow. I couldn't keep living like this. So I made a decision at 79 years old. With more years behind me than ahead, I decided to try. First, I made a list. Everyone I'd lost touch with who was still alive. The number was depressing, but there were some names left, a few old colleagues, a cousin I hadn't called in 7 years, a neighbor from my first house. I started calling, not texting, not emailing, calling. You know what happened? Some people didn't answer. Fair enough. I hadn't earned their time, but some did. My cousin Margaret answered on the third ring. She sounded shocked to hear from me. We talked for 2 hours, 2 hours of catching up on years we'd missed. She cried. I almost did too. She said, I thought you'd forgotten about me. I had. That was the truth, and I told her so. I'm sorry, I said. I was a fool. I'm trying to do better. She forgave me. Not everyone does, but she did. I started showing up differently. When my neighbor's husband got sick, I brought them dinner every Thursday for 3 months, not because I had to, because I wanted to, because I finally understood what showing up means. I joined a group at the community center, old folks like me, just looking for connection. Every Wednesday afternoon we play cards and complain about our kids. It sounds small, it isn't. I started writing letters, real letters, on paper, telling people what they meant to me. Some of them wrote back, some didn't. That's okay. I said what I needed to say. I even tracked down David's daughter, the college roommate who died. I sent her a long letter about her father, what he was like at 20, how he helped me through a dark time, how I wished I'd told him before he was gone. She called me crying, said it was the most meaningful letter she'd ever received about her dad. That one moment made all the difference. Here's what I've learned in the past 2 years. It's never too late to reach out. It's never too late to apologize. It's never too late to say, I miss you. Some bridges are burned. That's true. You can't repair every relationship you neglected, but some bridges are just dusty. They've been waiting for someone to walk across. Be that person. I'm happier now at 81 than I was at 60. Think about that. Less time ahead, fewer friends left, body falling apart, and yet happier because I'm finally doing what I should have done all along, showing up, reaching out, letting people know they matter. It took me 60 years to learn this. Don't let it take you that long. I need to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly. If you died tomorrow, who would be at your funeral? Not who would feel obligated to come, who would genuinely grieve, who would share real stories about the real you. Would your closest friends be there, or would they be strangers you haven't spoken to in years? Would people say, he was always there for me? Or would they say, we lost touch a while ago? Would your phone ring today with people checking on you? Or would days pass before anyone noticed you were gone? These are hard questions, I know, but you need to ask them because right now in this moment you're making choices. Choices that determine whether you end up surrounded by people who love you or sitting alone in a quiet house. I know what you're thinking. I'm different. My friends understand. We're all busy. We don't need to talk constantly to stay close. Maybe, or maybe you're telling yourself the same lies I told myself. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you made a new friend? A real friend, not an acquaintance? When was the last time you went out of your way for someone you care about? When was the last time you called instead of texted? When was the last time you showed up when it was inconvenient? If you're struggling to answer, that's a warning sign. Friendships don't maintain themselves. They require effort, consistent, intentional effort. And here's the thing, nobody tells you. The effort gets harder as you get older. At 30, making friends is easy. You're surrounded by people your age. You have energy. You have time. At 50, it's harder. Your world has shrunk. Your energy is limited. You're set in your ways. At 70, it's almost impossible. Everyone you knew has moved or retired or died. You're trying to build connections with a body that doesn't cooperate in a world that doesn't make sense anymore. If you don't build deep friendships now, you won't have them later. That's not pessimism, that's reality. I've watched it happen to me, to everyone I know, the people who are happy in old age. They invested in relationships when they were young. They showed up, they made time, they prioritized people over productivity. The people who are lonely in old age, they didn't. It's that simple and that brutal. So I'm begging you, yes, begging, don't wait. Don't assume your friends will always be there. Don't take the people in your life for granted, because one day you'll wake up and they'll be gone. And you'll sit in a quiet house staring at a phone that doesn't ring, wondering where everyone went. I know, because that's my life now. If I could go back and talk to my 30-year-old self, here's exactly what I would say. Stop. Stop canceling plans because you're tired. You'll have plenty of time to rest when you're dead. Stop assuming your friends know you care. Tell them, show them, often. Stop putting work above people. Your job will replace you in a week. Your friends won't. Stop waiting for others to reach out first. Pick up the phone. Make the effort every single time. Stop saying, let's catch up soon, and not meaning it. Either make a plan or don't say it at all. Stop letting small conflicts end big friendships. Swallow your pride. Apologize first. Life is too short for grudges. Start calling people just to say hello. No agenda, no reason, just to hear their voice. Start showing up to things, birthday parties, weddings, funerals, especially funerals. Start making friends outside your age group. Younger friends will keep you young. Older friends will make you wise. Start being vulnerable. Real friendship requires honesty. Let people see the real you. Start investing in friendships the way you invest in your career, with intention, with consistency, with effort. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. If there's someone you've been meaning to call them now. Not later, not when you have more time, now. If there's someone you've lost touch with, reach out today. Send a message, write a letter, show up at their door. Don't wait until they're sick. Don't wait until they're dying. Don't wait until you're standing at their funeral wishing you'd made more time. If there's someone you've hurt, apologize. Today, pride is worthless. Connection is everything. If there's someone you love who doesn't know it, tell them. Say the words out loud, to their face if you can. You matter to me. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being in my life. These words cost you nothing, and they mean everything. I would give anything to say them to the people I've lost. Anything. You still have the chance. Don't waste it. I'm 81 now. Most mornings I wake up and for a split second I forget. I think about heading to Miller's Diner to meet Frank. Tuesday, 8 a.m., same booth. Then I remember, he's gone. I still drive past the diner sometimes. I don't go in, it hurts too much, but I slow down, look at our booth through the window, remember all those mornings, 57 years of friendship, thousands of conversations, thousands of cups of bad coffee, thousands of moments I'll never have again, and yet I'm grateful. That's something I've learned in these last 2 years. Grief and gratitude can exist together. Missing someone and being thankful for them can live in the same breath. I miss Frank every day, but I had him for 57 years. That's more than a lot of people get. Here's what I know now. I've been living intentionally for 2 years, 2 years out of 81, 2 years of showing up, 2 years of making calls, 2 years of saying what I mean and meaning what I say. These have been the best 2 years of my life, and also the hardest, because I can't stop thinking about what I missed. The 52 years I spent on autopilot, the decades of excuses, the friendships I let fade. If I'd started at 25, I'd have 56 good years behind me. If I'd started at 40, I'd have 41. Even if I'd started at 60, I'd have 21. Instead, I started at 79, and I have 2 years. That's the math that keeps me up at night. But here's the thing. I can't go back. None of us can. What I can do is make the most of the time I have left, whatever that is, a year, 5 years, 10 if I'm lucky. I can show up, I can reach out, I can tell people they matter, and I can share what I've learned with you so you don't end up where I am. The irony is, when you understand that time is limited, you start to actually live. You stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You stop postponing joy. You stop taking people for granted. You start creating the life you want. I wish I'd understood this sooner, but I'm glad I understand it now. You have a choice right now, today, this moment. You can keep living the way you're living. Keep telling yourself you'll make time for friends later. Keep canceling plans. Keep letting relationships fade. Keep assuming the people you love will always be there. Or you can wake up. You can realize that time is running out faster than you think, that the people in your life won't wait forever, that the connections you're neglecting might not survive another year of neglect. You can put down your phone after this video and call someone right now. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, now. Tell them you're thinking of them. Ask how they're really doing. Make a plan to see them in person. Do the thing you've been putting off. Say the words you've been holding back. Show up the way you've been meaning to. Because here's what I know for certain. There will come a day when you can't anymore. When the person you meant to call won't answer. When the apology you meant to give will be too late. When the visit you meant to make will turn into a funeral, and you'll sit where I'm sitting, in a quiet house, surrounded by regrets. Don't wait for that day. Don't wait for a wake-up call like mine. Don't spend 60 years learning something you could learn today. Someday is today. It always has been. The people you love are waiting. Go to them. If this resonated with you, I hope you'll share it. Not for me. I don't need anything, but for the friend who needs a push. For the person who's been neglecting the people they love. For everyone who needs to hear that it's not too late to change. Subscribe if you want more truths from someone who's learned them the hard way. I don't have much time left, but I have more to share. Leave a comment below. Tell me who you're going to call today. Tell me what you're going to do differently. I read every single comment, and your stories matter to me. Thank you for your time. It's the most precious thing you have. Spend it on people you love, not later, now.